So you're a philosopher?
Yes. 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 I think very deeply. I think very deeply. I think very deeply. I think very deeply.
In about 4 seconds, a teacher will begin to speak.
I think very deeply.
If white immigrants can come to this country 50 years ago with nickels and dimes and no education, and come here and pool their little nickels and dimes and no education, and set up little stores, develop these stores into larger stores, develop this into an industry which creates job opportunities for whites. Since Lincoln was supposed to have freed the black man 100 years ago, and today the black man, according to the government economist, has spending power of $20 billion per year. We feel that with the black man spending $20 billion a year, not setting up any businesses, not creating any industry, not creating any job opportunities for his own kind, he's not in a moral position to point the finger today at the white man and tell the white man that he's discriminating against him for not giving him a job in factories that he himself set up. If the black man has $20 billion, and these so-called Negro leaders are such geniuses that they can integrate white restaurants and integrate white factories and force themselves into that which the white man has set up, they should use this same ingenuity to show the black people how to pool our wealth and set up something of our own. And then we won't have to force our way into his anymore. One more thing I would like to point out concerning what he said about 125th Street. We don't waste our time on 125th Street, but you can reach more people in the street who want to change than you can in the bourgeoisie society, the bourgeoisie church, and the bourgeoisie circles. Our program is directed toward the man in the street. So we spend our time in the street, and what we do with that man, instead of trying to change the white man and your mind and make you accept us, we change the mind of the black man and make him accept himself. And as soon as he accepts himself, he'll solve his own problem. He won't be trying to force himself into your factory and into your bedroom and into your kitchen.
A legal obligation or responsibility. Duty to me, and in this setting, specifically what we're talking about today, and I don't like to speak about, black and white or make a difference often. But in this case, I'm going to go against that rule, and I'm going to specifically talk to young black men. For young black men, your duty is to be honest. That can sound somewhat naive. I guess that can sound somewhat simplistic in a few ways. But what I've found and what I've seen throughout life is that it's hard to maintain your integrity. It's hard to maintain a certain level of sincerity. So there's something that happened recently, and I want to use it as an example. And it's actually really been bugging me. This a rapper out in LA. He came out and he threatened, for the most part, a young guy from Chicago. So now I don't know. That dude's net worth is $10 million. He's an entertainer. And he took it upon himself to try to profit or exploit the violence that's going on in Chicago. And he used a young man by the name of Little Dirt to do it. So he got in this song and he said all of these different names and said a bunch of stuff that he really didn't have any business saying. And the duty of people here in Chicago was to call him on it and to let him know, like, it's not cool for you to talk about things you really don't know about. It's not cool for you to try to exploit a violent situation or a bad situation here. And it's people that have lost children. It's people who have lost lives for doing less and saying less than what this man just got on a record and said. So I'm sure this may not be a big deal to a lot of people, and I'm pretty sure people my age, 36 and over, or probably even a little bit younger, would probably consider it immature or naive or silly for me to even follow something like this. But the thing is, growing up, I was blessed to have a father who, he engaged me in talks like these. My old man kept up with basketball. He kept up with pop culture for the most part, you know, because he had 2 young sons and he wanted to know what was going on in our lives. So I really want to address it from that standpoint. So this message, this video is being made for a certain age group, a certain demographic, and I can't compare a Count, dude from the LEP Boys. I can't in my right mind and in all sincerity and all honesty, I can't compare Count to Malcolm X. And I think that it would be disrespectful in some ways to compare him to Tupac. But what I would like to compare are these specific instances in which these men stood up and spoke on behalf of what they felt was right. So just this isolated incident in which Count took up for a youth here in Chicago, and maybe not a youth, but he's still a really young guy. Count took up for him. He took up for his beliefs and his principles and how he feels about the city. Tupac was taken up for the black community, for disenfranchised, for the people who are voiceless. And then Malcolm X was also taken up for those same people. So I would love for you all to take a look at the videos, discuss them, and then possibly debate the similarities and the differences in the message over those generations.
Revolutionary. So please help me in welcoming Brother Tupac Shakur. Yeah. First I want to say peace to my mother. She's not here, but I got to give a peace out to her because I wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for my mother. And I looked in the front of this thing and it says start from within to rebuild our original greatness, right? Okay, well that's what my mother did. You know what I'm saying? And I'm listening about freedom fighters and strugglers. Well, you got to understand that when it was in to have a gun and to be in the street, my mother gave that up to be in a house and wash the dishes, you know what I'm saying, and feed us and put the thoughts in our brains, you know what I'm saying, because we didn't get any of that history from all of those soldiers that we lost. We got none of that. They all went to jail, if you can remember. They all went to penitentiaries. We didn't see none of that knowledge. If it was not for my mother who stayed home and didn't go out and do all that, then I wouldn't have had shit, excuse my language, but I wouldn't have been nowhere. So what I want to do, hopefully, is I want to be, I am Tupac Shakur. I have to be a reminder that we can't chill out. No, it ain't time to cool out and banquets and all that. It's still on. It's on just like it was on when you was young, and you want to say fuck that just like you said fuck that back then. So how come now that I'm 20 years old ready to start some shit up, everybody telling me to calm down? You know, don't curse, go to school, go to college. Well, fuck that. You know, we had colleges for a while now. You know what I'm saying? And it's still Brenda's out there, and niggas is still trapped. You know what I'm saying? And it gets me hurt. because I understand that it's not going to stop. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to stop until we stop it. And it's not just white men that's doing this to Brenda, and it's not just white men that's keeping us trapped. It's black. You know what I'm saying? We have to find the new African in everybody, in all of us. Because if we keep running around looking for black and who got the most colors on and who got the baddest dashiki on, we still gonna get, excuse my language, fucked. Because it irks me that my mother right now is going through, you know, she has to get clean. This is somebody who I watched travel the whole country, you know what I'm saying, during a time when women were scared to speak up for the Black Panthers. She spoke at Harvard, Yale, everywhere. And now I see my mother as what's really going on. You know what I'm saying? And I don't see no big parades around my mother now. And she done got a dozen fucking awards. And I don't see nobody there. You understand what I'm saying? So about all this, I take that lightly. I take all this lightly. What I want you to take seriously is what we have to do for the youth. Because we're coming up in a totally different world. This is not the same world that you had. This is not the 60s. This is not that. We grew up BC, before crack. That should say it all. You understand what I'm saying? We did not grow up without parents. You had parents that told you this and that.
Take the bass line out. Jiggle. Bounce. Let it bump.